Hi there, Christina Sieberts, truthandit.com. We are here with Brock from Tintri. Brock, how are you today?
Excellent.
Doing well. Are you finally happy to be back in person after the past 2 years being fully remote?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I've told some people that I'm invincible on Zoom, but you got to get the nerves back out, get back in front of people, and you get to connect with them again. You get to be able to explain the technology a little bit deeper. It's more of a personal connection.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of us feel that way, and there's a lot of excitement here today with the people that have come, just to kind of see some of our old friends, make some new friends, and kind of see what all the companies are doing, post-pandemic. So if you wouldn't mind just kind of giving our audience, a brief overview of what you do at the company, what your role is, what you manage, and really, I've heard some buzz about kind of this new solution that you just rolled out, and if you could talk a little bit about that as well.
Sure. Yeah, so I've recently moved into the CTO role within the division of the company. So we've put a focus, or my focus has been put around product and engineering and working with trying to get some new technologies out or new features and capabilities within the platform. So definitely that's one of the things we're excited here to announce is we call it Next. It's new and exciting 10 things at Tintri, so the X is a Roman numeral. And we've come up with 10 exciting features that are all going to be delivered on a virtual VM store. So traditionally, we've been a physical appliance that goes into the data center, supporting a physical stack for virtualization. Now we're starting to move our technology and our intellectual property into the cloud to be able to support those workloads. A lot of people, they take workloads, they put them into the cloud environment, they have some performance challenges, and it becomes very difficult for them to figure out and pinpoint where those problems are, or if it's something that's been a slow problem occurring over time. Well, when the TXOS operating system is in play, you now have the analytics to be able to see the trending and understand what's going on, not only on your on-prem physical deployment, but now within the cloud environment. So that ties back to the applications. So it's enabling a bunch of data protection services, some hybrid cloud architectures, and expanding our portfolio of features.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. So can you tell us a little bit more of some of these features that our audience would want to know about, and what kinds of pain points can this platform or these features, help them solve, or in their organization, in the IT environment?
Yeah, so one of the portions of it is data protection. Now that we are able to deploy a virtual VM store within a cloud environment, we're able to replicate snapshots into that cloud environment. So you get a little bit of economies of scale of being able to utilize that cloud provider's underlying infrastructure and using our same native technology that you're used to between your physical on-prem gear. So it gives you a little more capability around disaster recovery. We're moving into a future as well to where you could take those snapshots and spin them out into that cloud provider. So we're providing a path to move workloads into the cloud, whether it be a migration or a disaster recovery, but we're also providing a return path. So we're actually having a lot of conversations around repatriating workloads back into the premise. So we're giving them that return path as well.
That is really interesting, and I think that's the first time I've heard kind of that repatriation, if that's the right word, to use about apps, because all we're hearing nowadays is cloud migration and moving everything into the cloud. So can you tell our audience a little bit more about what's the value in that and moving apps back from the cloud, and how does that work?
Yeah, so in some cases, the performance that's required for some applications becomes really expensive under a software as a service or infrastructure as a service pricing model. So a lot of people are looking at bringing some of those workloads back in. I mean, our focus is really data mobility. We want to enable the customer to put that workload where it makes sense for the business. Maybe it's an economic conversation. Hey, this is too expensive to run this app here. We can run it more efficiently in our offices. Or it could be we need it to be in this cloud location because it's closer to where our end users, our consumers are. But maybe we develop it in-house on our paid systems and then push that final product out to that cloud provider. So we're providing that transport and that mobility for customers.
Wow, that's really interesting, and I know that that's also something that's really important, just mobility in general and having that flexibility to move things around when needed. Can you talk a little bit about how Tintri, about how your business has been affected by the pandemic? Is this new solution something that was born out of a need because of the pandemic, or is this just something that was in plans, even before? Talk a little bit about that.
So we had an interesting effect with the pandemic. We actually saw a rise in sales and consumption of our product because everybody started flipping on their VDI environments, and we work great in VDI. So we have Auto QoS at the core of our file system of our appliances, which means all of those VDI sessions that get stood up on our box all have a dedicated I/O lane. So you get very good performance, you don't get the noisy neighbor. So we're a natural fit for VDI environments, and customers that already had us in place, as they ramped up their VDI for work from home, they ramped up their underlying Tintri infrastructure. So it was a benefit to us that way. Now, from the virtual VM store perspective, there wasn't really a driver as far as the pandemic's concerned, but we needed to take the next evolution in the product. We've been working very hard on trying to get what the next set of features that are going to benefit our customers, and we've really gotten a lot of asks around cloud and hybrid cloud mobility and those capabilities. So that's really what we drove home towards.
That's great. And so do you have kind of in this kind of ideal customer profile, right? So are there certain industries or company sizes that would particularly benefit from this solution? Do you have any particular firmographic targets or verticals, anything like that?
So we really tie into the VMware ecosystem, so that's one of the key things. If they have a VMware platform, we can typically play very well in that environment. VDI environments are definitely a very key areas that we're successful in. As far as individual business verticals, we kind of stretch the gamut. I mean, everybody that's running a virtualization platform, regardless of what their business or their industry vertical is, we're a fit in that environment.
That's great. And so is there anything, any final thoughts that you would want to tell our audience, let them know about where they can learn more about these solutions, anything that would be beneficial for them to know if they're considering, of course, the new solution, but also Tintri in general for any needs, anything you want them to know?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've obviously got reps nationwide that are more than willing to help. They love to pull me in to be able to do demos. So Tintri.com is definitely a great resource. We've got an awesome YouTube channel that goes through a lot of our technical resources, so you can really get an understanding of how the product's going to benefit your business. And then, obviously reach out to us through social media. Any way that you can get in touch with us, we're happy to show our product off. We do trial deployments, so you can get your hands on the product. We don't see very many of those return back to us. They typically convert into sales, because once you get your hands on a VM store, you start to compare everything else to it, and you're finding that we do things quite a bit differently, and it benefits the end user and the workload.
That's great. Well, you heard it, folks. You can go and learn more on all of those outlets that Brock just described. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for the time.
Yep, and we hope you have a great rest of the show. Thank you very much. We will come back with more coverage.